Today we're going to talk about good sportsmanship, and I've got a bunch of cool video clips to show you of great examples of this from a variety of sports. We live in a time when you'll see plenty of poor sports, people who are dirty, they're trash talkers, they're cheap shot artists, things like that.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
So in this video, I want to restore your faith in humanity, show you some great examples of sportsmanship. Now, I love seeing two good players go head to head, giving it all they've got, and then to be able to come together after and congratulate one another, regardless of the outcome. Sports can be so exciting. A lot of times they're determined on a last second play and your emotions are on the line, and you see people who are just heartbroken after a hard loss. Many times you'll see people that'll taunt them and get in their face and make fun of them. So I love it when I see people like this who can come and console their competitors and show them some respect. Here's another example from baseball. This pitcher struck out the final batter. The game's over. Their team's celebrating. But you'll notice the pitcher goes over to the batter's box. He's talking to the guy that just struck out, and he's comforting him. These guys were childhood friends a long time ago. I just think it's cool. He's going to go off and party with his team for a good victory, but showing some good sportsmanship before that. Sometimes sportsmanship can just take a second or two and just be little things, but it can make a big difference. It shows you got respect to the guy you're competing against. Now, even cold-blooded and competitive players like Kobe, who has Mamba mentality, there's times when you see him showing respect for his opponents. Still there to compete, but he can appreciate someone performing well. Now, on one of the few occasions when Usain Bolt didn't win a race, here's one with Justin Gatlin that beat him. I love how he kneels down in humility, kind of acknowledging the fact that he knows that he's the GOAT. Now, sportsmanship in mixed martial arts is one area that really impresses me, because just seconds earlier, these guys are swinging at each other, trying to knock them out, trying to choke them out. But once the match is over, you see a lot of times when they'll come together and show respect to each other. Here, George St. Pierre and Michael Bisping after a match. All right, in this next clip, here's Machida with a head kick, brings his opponent down. Most guys would come in there and drop 5 or 6 hammers before the ref pushes him off. Again, he backs off, shows some respect. This guy happens to be a friend of his. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But it's cool to see these guys that are just going at it so hard, and then a minute later, they can show respect once the bout is over. A lot of true competitors want to face their opponent when they're at their best. So when they see someone injured or something happen, they'll stop play. I've seen many soccer matches where someone gets seriously injured and the opposing player will run and grab the ball with his hands to stop the play and get the other person medical attention. So I think it's cool when people can respect an injury and give the other team a break under that circumstance. Here's an example in track and field. We've got this pole vaulter goes up, shatters her pole. She doesn't have a spare one. So one of her opponents is nice enough to lend her pole, and she's able to compete and do well with it. She didn't have to do that. She could have said, nope, too bad, but it's cool to see stuff like that. It's also cool to see players watch out for their opponents and try and keep them from getting hurt in the game. I've seen many races where the person in first place takes a wrong turn or something happens at the end, and the person right behind them acknowledges that, yeah, they were won if it weren't for that mishap. They don't have to stop. He doesn't have to do this. But again, showing great sportsmanship and respect when he does something like this. Same thing in cross country. You want to talk about a brutal sport. Watch the finish line of a cross country meet. But you'll see these girls from 2 different teams. They take the time and help this one. And I'm sure they've done it because they've been there before and know how difficult that is. Another example I really like is from many years ago. Girls softball team. Someone hits a home run on the last play. As she's rounding first base, she blows out her knee, collapses. And her team and her coach aren't able to assist her, technically because of the rules. And so the opposing team is nice enough to pick her up and walk her around each base and let her put her foot down so she could score. They acknowledge the fact, yeah, you hit a home run. Technically, you guys won. So cool sportsmanship there. I like seeing stuff like this. It's also nice when you can see a player admit they're wrong and apologize to their opponent. Here's an example from a sambo match. This wrestler from Belarus ends up winning. The other player gets injured, can hardly stand afterwards. It's cool to see him actually help carry him back to his coach and show some respect to his opponent that way. Okay, I've been talking and blabbing too much on these, but this is one of my favorite ones from tennis. Just watch this yourself. No explanation needed.
Fault. If you want to challenge it. What's up?
Oh, this is great. He is challenging. Good sport, Jack Sock. Let's see the result, and it is in. Don't you love that? Good on you, Jack.
So you may not be a competitive athlete wondering, what does this have to do with me? Could be something simple as next time you're at the gym, remember to re-rack your weights. If it's really busy, you could let someone work in on a machine with you, things like that. You see a lot of times people when they could use some sportsmanship when it comes to just driving out on the freeway with too much road rage out there. So basically it can boil down to don't be a dick for a lot of people. Anyway, I love these examples. I love good sportsmanship. I love seeing this. If you can think of some examples or know of some, I'd love to hear in the comments of great examples that have inspired you when it comes to good sportsmanship. Join me next week for another video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should, unless you're a chicken.